Hey, True Life Church. We wanted to give an update on where we're at with our building fundraising campaign and what we're going to do next. Just a quick recap of where we're at. The overall project to build on Summers Farm is estimated to cost about 3.7 million. We had 1.7 in the bank. We had 1 million approved for a loan. And so the goal for the last few months has been to raise $1 million. Many of you signed up to pray and fast with us, and we were so incredibly grateful for that. People owned a different day and prayed, fasted. And then on September 29th, we took an offering, and that offering kind of has been a few weeks long. Money still coming in. At this point, we've brought in over $412,000. Pretty much, we're very close to $413,000 from 84 participating families. That could be single people, or that could be families. It's not 100% of our church, but it's most of it. It's the majority of our church has participated in this, and we are grateful for that. Now, the goal was 1 million, so we haven't reached that. And so you could say, well, okay, we're $600,000 short, which is definitely true. In the grand scheme of things, we are 3.7. We're 3.1 out of 3.7. So the majority of what we need is here. We have it allocated. But yeah, we're $600,000 short, which raises the question, where do we go from here? Our board met Monday night to discuss. There were a few options on the table. Some of you guys had thrown in ideas and suggestions and questions. One option was do we just continue to fundraise until we have it all and then start building, which would mean delaying the building of, breaking ground. And how long could we do that for? Contractually with Art Summers, we have 13 more months to break ground, to get this building project going. We have 13 more months to do that. So we do have some time contractually, but nobody wants to wait 13 months. None of us want to put this on hold. And so we have no intention of putting it on hold. Another question was, can we shave off the overall price? Can we cut cost, or can we change the design? After looking at that, we realized that we really don't know until we meet with the township. The township has not yet scheduled a meeting with us, and when they do, they're going to let us know what is exactly needed and what is not. So, for example, if they tell us that we do not need a paved parking lot, then we could probably save $200,000 to $300,000 by doing stones. Just an example. There are other things like that we may be able to cut costs on, but we won't know until we have a meeting with them. Another option was, do we increase the size of the loan? Instead of borrowing 1 million, should we borrow up to 1.6 million? Practically, that would really mess with our operating budget. We've said in the past, we do not want a loan to change how we put money towards our internal ministries and how we send money abroad in our missions giving. So we really don't want to do that. And it's unlikely that the bank would actually approve us for much more than 1 million anyway. Maybe they'll stretch us to 1.2. So that's probably not an option at this point, unless our income, our regular giving increases substantially. Another option was simply to pause and pray. We just pray about what to do next. And it really became clear as we were discussing that, well, we don't have a meeting with the township. And while we can be discouraged about that and say, man, they're dragging their feet and this is taking so long, it's also kind of it's a clear next step. We're going to raise money until we have that meeting with the township. So the process of those meetings is there's an informal meeting with the township. It's kind of a closed hearing, and then there is a more formal meeting, and that's usually about a month later. We do expect to have that informal meeting any day now, any week now. It's going to be a Monday night, and then a month later have the formal meeting. So it's possible that we can be ready by the end of 2024 to break ground, but it's more likely that it's going to be more like February. So in our minds, hey, let's just keep fundraising. Let's keep encouraging people to pray and give until February, and then we'll see where we're at when we meet with the township and the township says, oh, this is what you need and this is what you don't need. Then we can kind of shave off costs if we're able to, and see what other additional monies have come in. So that kind of makes our next step simple. So here's where we're asking everyone to pray. Pray for more families to participate in the offering. We want 100%. We'd love that. Now, we don't want anybody giving out of compulsion. We don't want anybody giving reluctantly or out of obligation. We want cheerful givers. So I want to make that clear. But from what we're hearing, it's very possible that some people are not giving because they feel like, well, I don't have much to give and it's not going to contribute much. We're $412,000 out of $1 million. What's my offering going to do? And here's where we want to really encourage you. What you give, if it's sacrificial and it's cheerful, it can have a huge impact. Maybe even not in the physical realm, but in the spiritual realm. You just don't know what our giving creates in the spiritual realm, the breakthroughs that could happen. Jesus fed 5,000 families with a little boy's lunch. He gave that up and Jesus used it. He didn't say, I'm not going to use that. That's too small. Watch what I do out of nothing. He takes the little sacrifices we have. So if that's you, if you haven't had a chance to give yet, I'd encourage you to do it. Secondly, I'd encourage you to pray for patience. While we wait for the township to schedule a meeting with us, let's just trust that God's at work behind the scenes. We wanted that meeting yesterday. We wanted that meeting last week, but we didn't get it. And we're going to trust God's timetable. Number three, pray that God would multiply whatever fish and loaves are brought. Whatever people give, whatever people bring in, let's pray that God multiplies it. Let's pray that maybe he brings in an outside giver, an outside investor, somebody who's, you know what, that little church, I want to bless them with a few $100,000. Let's pray that God multiplies. And so don't be hesitant to share our video story with family members and friends and neighbors. And then lastly, pray, and this is really, really important, pray that our building fundraising does not adversely affect our annual Christmas missions offering. Every December, we take a special offering for the Great Commission Fund of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. That offering goes to missionaries, church plants, persecuted Christians around the world. It goes to disaster relief. It goes to caring for refugees around the world. Last year, we raised $80,000 in that offering. My prayer, my hope, our board's hope is that this extra building offering doesn't adversely affect that. I know it might seem like, well, how could it not? But let's just pray that it doesn't. So if you've already given to the building, if you've already stretched yourself, I would just say, hey, then put your focus towards that Christmas offering. So that's an update here. We will probably give a more detailed update. Bob Daber, who oversees our building team, he will probably give a more detailed update on the actual approval process. Not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. And we'll just keep updating you as we hear things. Okay.